another son, Romeo? What are you doing inside the hospital? Mother, it wasn't me. I told you so.
Do you think we'll ever know? Do you think we'll ever know? Can Mr. Media steal the show? Can Mr. Media steal the show? So then 3 years around an hour to the beginning, it remains to be determined, was it he or was it she? Was our appreciations and that certain quality? It remains to be determined, was it he or was it she? Was it she or was it he? Who would get all the glory? It's still to be determined, was it he or was it she? Do you think we'll ever know? Do you think we'll ever know? Was it he or was it she?
This may all be a piece of fiction that we present you today. We don't take it seriously. We're all just here to play. So, if you are a Shakespeare fan or an Elizabethan buff, perhaps not all this tale is true. But don't leave here in a huff. Now, in days gone by, it is believed, and the rumour has been spread, that Shakespeare didn't pen these plays, an Italian girl did instead. Way back in Elizabethan times when Elizabeth I was queen, the lady playwrights of those days were simply never to be seen.
I am Emilia Massaro, who penned some of Shakespeare's plays, and these characters are conjured up in many different ways. When I was young, I believed all the world to be fair, but women were not treated equally, so that was my cross to bear. I entertained the nobles, I learned to read and write, but I was not allowed to publish. So this is the tale of my plight. As I grew older, I learned a woman should speak her mind. So this is the tale of those long ago days, and men of Shakespeare's kind.
I take great exception to this tale about my famous works. Those who've said they're not my own are just a bunch of jerks. Women couldn't write these plays, we know they're all just wenches. So as we do in the sporting world, we just leave them on the benches. I wrote these tales of wondrous things, of Danish princes, British kings, of evil deeds and battlefields, so let's see where this story leads. I present these stories to my queen, to amuse her and delight, and she would surely judge them as my very own by right. We present these written lines to you, as I hope they all were told, but heaven knows how these tales will end when this woman takes a hold. So, assemble us in characters, we'll let them tell the story, and you, my lovely audience, can say, who gets the glory?
I am the reigning Queen of England, Elizabeth I. I love to watch the players act. The theatre is my thirst. But there will not be any women here allowed to write my plays. 'Tis only to men I grant that task, for their many skillful ways. Now, who is this little piece Amelia? Who does she think she fools? Women, other than oneself, of course, do not have the necessary tools to be capable of writing verse, all those witty lines in prose. I only allow men that task, and very few of those. Now, as the Queen, it's my decree, I make all the rules that society allows. Women, other than oneself, of course, we know are brainless cows. So, Mr. Shakespeare, do your stuff and give it all you've got. And rest assured, this royal queen will determine what is what.
I bow before your majesty, God save my gracious queen. I pledge to tell you only tales that mine alone have true. So let me start by introducing one of my old demented witches. The crazy things these old crones did had my Macbeth in stitches.
Hubble bubble, you're in trouble. If you see my friends, Macbeth went mad and killed his mates. Bodies all over the place. This story is a short one, but bloody in all of its telling. Lots of famous Scottish drama that starts with 3 witches yelling!
In reality, I am his wife, and he wanted to be king, so I helped him do some evil deeds and other nasty things. As Dame Macbeth, such a schemer, ambitious from a man, all those rotten things he did were part of my grand plan. Macbeth did murder King Duncan, killed all his servants as well. This last little bit was just because he didn't want the servants to tell. The gore that's deep in this story goes on forever. An intricate plot of great intrigue is really very clever. I planned so many nasty things, so much murder in my head, you can see that as Lady Macbeth I wanted a lot of men dead. Just like all the royal dramas, heaps of people end up dying. I went mad with guilt and shame. Oh, outdone spot.
And Macbeth?
Oh, he left us crying. Can a man, like Shakespeare, really know a woman's mind? A man who understands our thoughts is very hard to find. So let's move on and see what other things he penned. A tale of Italian lovers with another messy end. Many times throughout my life I have been bored with no one to care. So in male disguise I sold my place to him for a very small fare. Now I am an Italian woman, as you could plainly see, so surely these plays set in Italy are once written by me. Now let's watch those inamorata cotton lovers, their passion so intense, and see William here could have penned a play that at least made some sense.
I met a boy in the marketplace, Rorio, and he's a bit alright.
Yeah.
He wooed me, made me promise I'd go out with him that night. So we went out, what's it, midnight, and we giggled, and we cuddled, and we kissed. And I quickly run home before I would be missed. Now when Dad found out and he was awfully mad, our families were mortal enemies, and that's a well-known fact. And many a fight broke out between his folks and mine. But we still sneak off in the woods whenever we have time.
I'm Mary her one true love. I adore her, you know. My public displays of affection are not all just for the show. And I write nice verse, I tell you. I write these words to Juliet, here's a rose, darling, for my very first tweet.
Now, I'm telling men a hot button, and there's so much more I could say. But the upshot of all that canoodling, well, I've got in the family way. Now, what of the story you know is all just a pack of lies. Was it killed? Did I take poison? The fact is, nobody dies. We decided it would be better if my throwing curves didn't show, so we decided to pack up our shadows and sneak off one night and just go. So we stole my uncle's donkey and set off for a better life. But when he joined that mafia mob, I became a godfather's wife.
You can see by the way she tells it, there was really no tragic end. As a woman, I prefer romance. Not the drama you like, my friend. Now here is another tale set in Italy, a place you've never been to. Another strong female lead, that wild girl they call the Shrew.
Say what you like about Birthplace and what you think you can do, but I know I wrote this bawdy tale when I was thinking of the likes of you. You don't need to be an Italian to know they're all the crazy one. I've met plenty of women like you. That's how I came up with this plot.
I am Kate the Shrew. They all know me well. I have a filthy temper. I know more cussing words than you could possibly remember. I know they call me nasty names because I'm crazy and I'm wild. My clothes are torn and grubby. My hair is so unstyled. They know I'll never marry. I'm just not good at one time. Finding a man to match my temper is very hard to find. I scream, I swear, I shout a lot. And all to no avail. Any man who takes me on is not your average male. My little sister wants to marry the young man of her dreams. The rules forbid that until I'm wed. So our father has a scheme. He's always trying to match me up with men he thinks I ought to marry. He's not too fussy who takes me on, any Thomas, Dick or Harry. One loud brute came calling, thinking I'd be easy to tame. He left after I knocked him out. Then came more of the same. The dowry my father was offering in attempts to get rid of me. Put to my door more horrible blokes than you'd ever wish to see. The story goes that they find a man who finally tames the shrew. But let me tell you, the way it's been told is not exactly true. I ran off with a travelling circus, and I became bewitched with the hairy, bearded old lady. And the two of us got hitched.
Now that is a much better ending and how I end this tale. You've rewritten all the lines that women wanted to say. Now here is another tale where a woman takes the lead. My Portia in The Merchant of Venice is another one who succeeds. Another tale set in Italy where men strut around like peacocks and women who won't sit quietly in parlours and pretty frocks. My Portia is a scholar, a woman with much to say. So let her tell this day of the war on how she saves the day.
That's like my dear friend Kate here. My father had a plan to marry me off to the highest bidder. Oh, what a prize for a man. I met the guilty. I met the rich. Yes, again, I met the men who only wanted my wealth. But I carefully chose myself a better man. And some stealth. Now, Bassanio, my chosen man, and now the husband of my home, was a little short on funds, so he asked a friend to help him get a loan. And with this, Antonio made a deal with a well-known lender. The default was a pound of flesh. Quite unusual in industry.
When the unfortunate Antonio couldn't pay back the loan, in the mind of Shylock the lender, the seeds of revenge were sown.
The matter of the loan default came up in the Venetian court, where Shylock won his way when a ruling had been sought.
He would extract that pound of flesh and show them who was boss, and their poor friend Antonio would really feel the loss.
Now, as a resourceful woman, Portia came up with a plan. She disguised herself as a lawyer, as Balthazar, a man.
I spoke at length in the courtroom about mercy, justice, and good. That old snake Shylock insisted that the verdict still stood. And as the cutting blade was wielding, I made my last appeal. Take his wish. Love was never in the deal. Now, as you know, when you slice raw meat, it bleeds. So, on this day, the magistrate forced Shylock to concede. And our good friend Antonio stayed one whole and healthy man. Now, I advise to you, my friend, avoid money lenders. If you can.
Well, I know that tale was set in Venice, but it could have been London too. Just because it's Italian doesn't mean it was written by you. Now, let's move on to this next role, Mistress Quickly. She's no lady. She's featured in my plays a lot, and her history's a little shady.
Now I know all you uppity lot, you look at me and you judge. No matter who wrote this codswallop, your opinion of me won't budge. Just because girl's been around a bit don't mean she's awful cheap. I mean, I've known a lot of men, but every one was a creep. I mean, some of the girls that I know here are called ladies of ill repute. What they do in their spare time, I mean, why should I give a hoot? For years, I've earned an honest wage if I've served up this horrible brew. I've always been a hard-working girl. Well, that's what I'm telling you. I've even met a couple of King Henrys. Can't remember which ones. Could have been 4 or 5. Might even be his sons. I even played the role of a good nurse with that cranky French physician. Difficult fellow, bad-tempered old coot with an horrible disposition. I knew those wives of Windsor. They weren't a merry lot. That old guy Falstaff, well, that old tale's a load of rot. So, you silly clods, when you finish arguing about who wrote this stuff, my opinion, for what it's worth, it's all just nonsense and fluff. You lot down here in the cheap seats, will you'll be looking for something to do. When you finish with this can, you'll be needing some of my brew. So, when you come up to London next, come to the old famous Boar's Head. I promise you'll be like to taking a beer and some bread.
Well, I suspect, madam, it's not your style to go to the tavern Boar's Head, where that scheming bag mistress quickly served her warm beer and stale bread. This fact now serves to prove that stories in which she plays a part are clearly those written by me, not some venomous tart.
Oh, let's put a halt to these playwrights with their egos too big to bear. Will, bring on your minstrel plays with some music that's good to the ear.
Once upon a time there was a tavern where we used to raise a glass or two. Remember how we laughed away the hours? Those were the days, my friend. We thought they never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We did the life we choose. We cried and carried. Those were the days. Oh yes, those were the days.
Just the night I stood before the tavern. Nothing seemed the way it used to be. In the glass, I saw a strange reflection. Was that the only one really me? Those were the days, my friend. We thought they never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We took the life we choose. We cried and carried. Those were the days. Oh yes, those were the days. La 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 la
Now that I've had some good music, my temper is starting to slow, and these two quarrelsome playwrights can now get on with their show.
Well, now enough of these tales of wenches and other feminine things. I wrote other amazing stories about battles, princes and kings. There was quite a lot of King Henry's. Her Majesty's father as well. I've written so many tales of history that only a man could tell.
Yes, yes.
So let's take this next example that my young friend Hamlet cites. All the intrigue of the Danish court. A plot about traitors and fights.
Alas, poor Yorick! I knew him well. No more tales for him to tell. I think this man is surely dead. His neck is separate from his head. He was my friend, this Chester fool. I used to talk to him at school, and now grown Prince of Danes, this bony head is his name. But my story is a longer tale. It has many turns and twists. It's a complicated yarn, so some parts get amiss. Uncle Claudius killed my father and took the kingdom and the crown. And my father's ghost appeared to me with a plot to put him down. So I undertook the task to ensure that Claudius lost his head. But I got it wrong and missed the mark. They killed another man instead. The story goes on for ages with lots more of that gory stuff. And as this tale unfolds, you'll see it all gets pretty rough. For instance, my good mate Raisin Toast, who was a good friend of mine, had me paid to get me killed. Such a turncoat in the end. Then more drama came about when the girl that I loved went completely mad. And in this duel that I was fighting, I got wounded pretty bad. So at the end of this long story, you'd hope and think that the bad guys got their due. But sadly, as this tale unfolds, the good guys, God bless them, ended up dying too.
Now history tells us Mr. Shakespeare never went to Denmark's court. So really these tales of Danish princes and kings, they were really a bit of both.
I see in all these tragedies so much drama, so much grief. Surely there is a tale to tell which provides some comic relief.
Your Majesty, here is a tale that William says he penned. It's one you know, A Midsummer Night's Dream. So who is here to attend?
I'm free. Story. A tale that's really well told. It's all about me and my mischief and the things I do. I'm so bold. I play this part Goodfellow Puck, a very naughty little fairy. Puck is always played by a boy. Of course, the men in our troupe are too hairy. I'm called the Merry Wanderer. I creep around at night. I fool with my magic spells a lot, but I never get them right. I made my friends fall in love with people they despise. I put little drops of my potion into their sleeping eyes. I made some lovers hate each other. Oh, I had a gay time, creating such havoc with friends. All little tricks of mine. I turned Nick Bottom into an ass, which wasn't so hard to do. I gave him the head of a donkey. That suited his temperament too.
Now in the forest where Puck lives, Titania and Oberon are the fairy queen and king, and they are the boss of everything. King Oberon was cranky with Puck in so many ways. He made him give up his magic spells and stop his mischievous play.
Now parts of this play are Greek drama about princesses waiting to wed. But really the most important parts are those things I've done and said. Despite what any playwrights think, I'm really the star of the show. When we mention Midsummer Night's Dream, it's that fairy Puck you all know. Although this play sounds silly, this is not a children's story. There's some very, very naughty bits, but nothing at all gory. Now you may think my deeds were nasty, and what I did was mean. So just imagine this little play was part of your very own dream.
Now in earlier times, women were not allowed on the stage, so little boys playing women in costumes was all the rage. powdered wigs and their makeup and their girlish flirting clothes, showing us their stocking legs, were pretty little boys. So William, this tale has a feminine side to it too. So how did you sell this tale to Dom as another one written by you?
Well, I took Puck's tale to our good queen and she really liked my style. My way of writing comedy, I know I made her smile. But when I was penning stories about those many well-known kings, well, especially my ancestors, well, I had to make up some things. So I made them smart, I made them brave, I made them all good gents. Things I do to please this queen, the stories I invent. So if you want some male perspective, here's some more of what I wrote. There's nothing girly, and this thing's a lot more blood and guts, you'll know.
I'll represent Will's kings in plays, except for that Henry number 8. The chubby flirt with the many wives, the one we love to hate. No one ever liked his festive way, or the treatment of his wives. By all accounts, from tales I've read, they all had dreadful lives. Now Henry VIII wasn't a dad, so we're careful how we play it. Now Henry wasn't very nice, but no one likes to say it. You offend this queen in any play, and your tender days are done. But there's lots of other Henrys there, so I could be another one. I could be that Henry, I could be that Henry number 5 who fought at Arden Court. Of course. The hero of the battlefields and the many wars he fought. Once more under the breach, dear friends, I gave my men the battle cry. We'll turn the enemy into toast, and their gizzards we will fry. I was always fighting Frenchies. Those enemies were my worst. Until I married the French king's girl. Then history was reversed. Now there's a couple of King Richards there, somewhere. Number 2 was a useless clown. Fighting the Irish and the Welsh. Well, eventually, he lost his crown.
Well, next came Richard number 7, strutting in with all his glory. He had his little brother Georgie locked up in the tower. He never murdered all his kin, and he finally got the crown. Until another of those Henrys, number 7, took him down.
There's another famous royal play. The history of King Lear. More than just a local tale of blood and guts, I hear. Now, King Lear is still considered one of William's greatest stories. There's greed, there's politics, there's power and death, and even pagan glory, where the sheep is. Now, there's lots of tales of British kings, and those Italian Caesars. We all know that all these royal intrigues were William's best crowd pleasers. Now, I must concur with William here, and so will his many fans. And so will his many fans. All these heroes and their deeds were the invention of a man.
This tale is so gory, yes, I agree, a man has penned. But I am not convinced it is William's work. Perhaps it was his friends. Now the tale set in Italy, I know I did write those, and all of the sonnets about romance and all of the lovers' prose. Now scholars in future will debate my point of view. If William didn't write all these plays, then perhaps we should ask who. I have the answer to this quandary, and you know my mind on this. History needs to be updated. to reflect the truth that's missed.
Oh, let's not rewrite history now. I'm still the famous one. You know you're just a woman. This isn't work you could have done. I've written 30-something plays and so many sonnets too. So who's this crazy Dame Amelia? No one's ever heard of you.
I am the Queen. It is my decree, and I make all the rules in court. And my opinion on everything is the only one that's thought. I have decided that young William here will be one's favourite playwright. Rest assured, I'll call the guards and take her from my side. I learned a lot from Daddy the King. That's Henry number 8. If a woman starts to bother one, you can decide on her dark fate. So you can shut off, Miss Amelia. Don't let history bear your name. And now, Will, my dear sweet boy, you can keep all the fame.
Shakespeare, William, I own the feather quill. I am the writer most familiar to you.
Well, now you've seen this play and how the story goes. You can look me up in the history books and read some of my published prose. I am Amelia Bassano, and today my name is heard. At least today, in this little play, I have the final word. Ciao!
Something will happen shortly, folks. There you go.